Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you guys are excited for today's session. So, my name is Anuj Sharma. I lead the community and operations here at Hack to Skill. So, today, quickly, I'll take you through the today's agenda. What are we doing here? What are you going to learn? Why did we do this collaboration with PSNA Institute, and how we are going to take it forward? So let me start. So I hope you guys know that robotic process automation is one of the trending technologies, and the next a part of the next technological boom. So we at Hack to Skill planned something with Uipath community, which is called Robotic Process Automation Developer Camp. It's presented by Uipath community and Hack to Skill. We aim to help students understand what RPA is, start their journey with RPA, and help them build their first bot, provide a path, a vision, along with industry support and industry guidance. So, in this today's session, our speaker, Mr. Manoj Batra, AVP at NatWest Group and UiPath MVP, will take you through what RPA is, what RPA in RPA from a job and internship point of view. How can you avail them? How can you upskill yourself? And how can you learn about RPA and practice RPA for free rather than paying it as a course, and taking it through the monetary terms. So everything on your Uipath Academy, your Uipath community is free of cost to learn, and you can do a lot of it. So we thought of doing this with multiple institutes, and we reached out to PSNA Institute, and we wanted to collaborate with them, PSNA College of Engineering and Technology. So we collaborated with them. I would like to thank Athil, our H2S fellow, who took this initiative and coordinated with the students, Shahul sir, who made this collaboration possible and supported us from the management side, and I'm really grateful to them. So before moving forward, I'd like to invite Shahul sir to address the students. Shahul sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. So now our student Akshay will welcome.
Okay, Akshay. Akshay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Today, good morning, everyone. I'm Akshay from the Department of Computer Science and Business System. I'm very privileged to welcome our honorable chief guest, head of the departments, faculty members, and students to this robotic process automation developer camp to enrich your knowledge. Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is going to turn everything on. Let us commence this event by welcome address. I would like to call upon Dhanushri to share a delightful welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to have you all here this morning. I'm Dhanushree from second year, Department of Computer Science and Business System. Welcome the challenges. Look for the opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. It's a glad welcome we bring you this morning with desires, hopes, and dreams all we share. I would like to I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, Mr. Manoj Batra, Associate Vice President in NAT West Group. I'm very delighted to welcome our chairpersons, Mr. K. Dhanlakshmi Ammal ma'am, our pro-chairman, Thiru R.S.K. Raghuram sir, respected principal, Dr. D. Vasudevan sir, head of the Department of Computer Science and Business System, Dr. S. Pavalarajan sir, and the faculty members. I hope this morning inspires you with wonderful ideas. Last but not the least, I welcome the students of Computer Science and Business System. Thank you.
Extend thanks to Dhanushree, who delivers a gratitude articulation. To be inspired is great, but to be an inspiration is honor. So now we call upon our student Kishore to deliver a forward about our chief guest.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kishore from second year Department of Computer Science and Business Systems. I am extremely overwhelmed to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Manoj sir. He completed his MCA in Information Technology and Computers. At present, he is an associate vice president in NAT West Group. He is specialized in Uipath and awarded the best component of month of June and winner of Power Up Automation Hackathon in Delhi, Pune. He has more than 10 years of commercial experience in client or server, web, and Windows application development using Microsoft technologies. It is a well known proverb that action speaks louder than words. It is an honorable moment for our institution to have your presence in today's event. Thank you, sir.
Thanks to Kishore for sharply defined about our chief guest. Now we hand over the special time of all to make it more special to our chief guest. And the session is yours, sir.
That was really a wonderful introduction, and I thank everyone for joining in, all the senior dignitaries and the students. Now, I guess I don't need to introduce Manoj again as it has already been covered. So let me add Manoj to the stream.
Bye.
Hey, hi Anuj. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Manoj. Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Thank you for this warm introduction. Now I'm feeling a bit nervous now to deliver this session. And before we start anything, first, I would like to thank PSNA College and Hack2 Skills to organize this event so that we can actually give you a session of, you can say, an introductory session of how RPA works, what's the scope of RPA, and why you should choose RPA as a career, and the possible opportunities in RP. So I'm sure I'm pretty excited, and you guys are also excited for this event as well.
Great. So let's look forward to this session. You can share your screen and start. Over
Yeah,
to you,
let me
Manoj.
share my screen with you. It's taking a bit of time. I hope you guys see my screen now.
No,
Is it
not
visible
yet.
to you guys? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Can you see it now?
Yes, it is visible now.
Great, great. Thank you, Anish. So before we start this introduction to RPA session, I know that you have already given a brief intro about myself, but I'll start with this intro again. So hi, as you already know that my name is Manoj Batra, and it's been around 13 to 14 years since I joined this IT industry as a software consultant, and 2000 was 17 was the time when I actually moved into RP, and it's been around 5 years since I've been working with RP, and currently I'm working with, as you guys already know, that working with NatWest Group as an AVP in RP and analytics, and I'm looking after automating stuff from the finance domain. And apart from that, I'm also working with the stakeholders to create some innovative solutions that can help business and customers to thrive, and they can also, these innovations can also help them to do their task effectively. Now, You guys have already heard about this term called RPA. RPA is you can say a buzzword nowadays. It's a booming technology. From the past 2 years, you have seen the exponential growth in the field of RPA. So I'll take you through all this journey. So first, we'll discuss about what is RPA. I'm sure most of you guys, because you are from computer science background and you already know about this term RPA. So RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. And in this term, the process is the most important part. So what is a process? So process for me, it is some kind of a task which includes some steps, and that gets automated with the help of a software robot. The reason why I'm saying is software robot, because people get confused with software robot versus hardware robot, which I'll take you in the next slide. So RP is a technology which enables a software program. A software program could be anything. It could be your WordWiz application. It could be your PowerPoint, SAP applications, Salesforce, your college website. It could be anything. Microsoft Office applications like Outlook and any other applications. It could be your PDF document. So it's a technology that enables a software program to mimic actions. So whatever you are doing, it could be your keyboard inputs, you are keying via your keyboard. It could be, again, the device could be anything, your laptop, your computer, it could be your mobile device, anything and everything. Means that is your keyboard inputs. And along with that, it could be your mouse movements like mouse click, mouse mover, anything. And the third thing is reading computer screen. So again, reading computer screen here depicts like any computer application screen, any software screen. Again, it could be your SAP application, your Word applications, your PowerPoint applications. So this RP software which actually mimics everything that you do. And it is like sometimes you do repetitive work and mundane tasks which takes so much of your energy. And with the help of RPA, we help them to automate this task. So moving on, what is RPA now? So as I've already mentioned to you that it mimics human action. So whatever you do, it just converts that actions into some programming methods in the background and will do the same number of steps when you actually run the program. Apart from that, it operates on any applications. I've already mentioned few applications name. And also with the help of RP, you can also work with Citrix-based applications or your remote desktop connections, where you can see there's a screen, simple screen on that, and you need to read the content of that screen from the image itself. That we can easily achieve with the help of RP. The next thing is structured reading and accessing data. So structured data, you know that where the data is properly formatted to row column format, or you have a form where you have defined fields for that, and you can also read that with the help of RPA. And along with the structured data, you can also read semi-structured and unstructured data as well. Obviously, you would need to actually include some other libraries, like you need to interact with Python and C# applications to read these unstructured applications. But for beginner session, we'll keep it to structured reading data, right? And the fourth benefit of RPA is no mistake without testing. So as you know that human have a tendency to make errors, but for RPA, if you write program well, so chances of errors are pretty less. You can say it's 0% when you actually write your code in RPA well. So there are no chances of error. And the other benefit of RPA, it is quick to implement and powerful to scale. So RPA is basically a RAD tool. So RAD stands for Rapid Action Development. So whatever you do, you can easily convert that into automation with the help of tool called Uipath, which is again RAD tool that basically generates a number of activities that you can actually use it in automation. You just drag drop from the activity panel, which I'll show you in a minute, to the workflow area, and you can start with your automation. And the second thing is powerful to scale. So here there's an example. Suppose you are working on an application on it. It could be your data entry application where you need to key in thousands of records to any ERP system. So what you are going to do is, if I talk about human being, so human being just logs into that application, reads the data somewhere from any PDF or an Excel file, or sometimes from the paper, and enters the data into your ERP system. But with the help of RPA, what you can do is you can upscale this thing. You can easily add the data. So we have a concept called queues. Will again, I'll explain this in the later part of this session. So you can enter the data into those queues. Those queues will actually read the data. You just need separate licenses for that. Club the licenses to one specific instance, and you can actually upscale your process. So let's suppose if you take 30 minutes to enter 10 records with the help of RPA and with the help of upscaling, you can do that with 1 minute. And let me give you one example. So we have also got one opportunity where we need to automate something, and manually the process was taking somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes to key in the data to a system. Again, that was a kind of a ERP based system. So what we did that we analyzed the project and we found that this process is actually fit for RP. And when we applied this RPA term to that, when we actually automated that, the process only took 2 minutes. So you can see that earlier the process took somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes, where the chances of errors were too high. Because if error occurs, then you have to again go back to your, you can say, step 0 to see where the actual exception had occurred. But with the help of RPA, this process only took 2 minutes and without any error. So you saved 33 minutes of a person's time every day, so that the person can actually work on some productive things. 33 minutes in a day, if I calculate this, multiply this with the number of working days that we have got here, so you would save actually more than 200 to 225 hours for a person, so that the person can do other productive work. He might be involved in some trainings, do some other stuff. So this is actually the power of RPA. So there are different KPIs involved in RPA. Some people actually want to use KPIs like they want to actually optimize the cost, reducing the FTEs. Some people actually focus on the different KPIs, like those are operational KPIs, like reduce the error risk, minimize the risk, how we can actually mitigate the risk with RPA. These are all different type of KPIs that we actually uh, taken into consideration when we get actually any project into RPA. Moving on. What RPA is not. This is the you can say most important thing in RPA, because I remember an incident where one of my stakeholders, she told me that, can we visit your warehouse to see how the robots are working there? So I explained to her that these RPA these RPA things are software robots. These are not actually hardware robots like your Alexa or walking and talking robots or any kind of a humanoid, or where they actually work in your warehouse area to do everything that you do on daily basis. So these are not similar to that. So and these are not human replacement as well. Again, I'll discuss this in the upcoming slides as well, how actually RP can help you to do the task, but it is not actually a human replacement thing, which most of the people think. There's a myth around that. Next, what robots can do. So I've already give you a background of a flavor of how RPA works, but here you can see the different type of things a single robot can do. I already mentioned that with the help of RPA, you can log into any application. Like the example I have just given to you, like where we need to log into a ERP based applications to do some kind of a manipulation to get the data, perform the manipulations at the system level, and then uploads the data back to that ERP system. So with the help of RPA, this is a, you can just smooth interaction. You can log in with any applications, any software application, whether the application is present on your machine or any remote desktop connection machine or any Citrix environment machine. Of course, you will need some set of extra software for that, but with RPA, you can do that. The other thing that RPA can do is, and again for operations people, this is a bit of a hectic work for them to move the files and folders to a separate folders, or sometimes they need to arrange folders in a proper structure along with all the files to a specific folder. Like suppose if I give you an example, if I tell you I have got 1 million files and I need to place that 1 million files, means categorize into 1 million files into year, then month, then date, and you need to put all the folders into those specific folders. So you can actually imagine the time or effort that you will take to do that. But with the help of RPA, this is just you can say a smooth smooth task which they can do with the help of you can say few activities. It would hardly take you somewhere around 20 to 25 minutes to write this code, not more than that. Along with that, you know that uh, after this big data or Hadoop and Apache Scala, this came into the picture. We are putting everything, anything and everything to the database. So with the help of RPA, you can interact with again any database, be it a SQL database, be it a non-SQL document DB. You can interact with any applications, Oracle, SQL, you just name it, MongoDB, Hadoop, Hive, anything you can interact with this RPA software robot. The next thing, and I think the very interesting part of RPA is RPA can actually scrap the data from websites. I know other technologies can also do that, but with other technology, there's a catch. With the help of RPA, you can just navigate to that page, scrap all the data in the format that you want. We have again got a tool called Solution Explorer. Again, you can see that it's an AI-based tool where with the help of this uh, Solution Explorer tool, you can actually log into a website, just scraps the data, select the data, and it will generate a table for you. We'll see that in a application that I'll show you the demo. And the other thing is you can again connect to any system API. So APIs are nothing, just these are just application programming interface. Some application, or you can say some portals expose some endpoints to you where you just need to consume it, whether it is again a SOAP-based API or a REST-based API. You can consume any API, get, post, anything. You can easily connect that with the help of Uipath. The next thing is extract content and documents, PDF, emails, and form. So again, with the help of RPA, you can extract any content which is there in your email, or suppose if you get a PDF, again, we are again focusing here on the structured part only. So if you get any structured PDF and you need to extract the contents from that document and convert that into your format. So most of the time that we face this issue is for company X, the format is different, whereas company Y follows a different pattern or different data pattern. So in those scenarios, we will use these software robots to convert that one format into the second format. So this is how we're actually you can leverage capabilities of RPA to do all these things. And suppose if you are filling some Google forms, capturing the response from the Google form, or you need to actually capture the response from some other website, you can also do that with the help of RPA. It's again a very easy task. Again, and I've already mentioned before that with the help of Uipath, you can easily interact with emails, Outlook, Office 365, any applications where you just need to open the emails, download the attachment, save it to a specific folder, or sometimes you need to read the attachment data and perform some actions according to the data that we have got from that particular document. So let me give you an example. So I was working with, I'll not name the client. So I'm working with one of my clients where the requirement was, we were actually doing some stuff for our IAS web server. So we have somewhere around more than you can say 200 plus website that is hosted on a single server. And most of the time, the problem that we face is the site gets down because of any reason. It could be any reason. And the problem was that when client sends us an email, we generally read that email, means the operation team or the support team would generally read that email, see the content in that email, then create a ticket in a separate software called Jira. Then that ticket will be assigned to some other person from that support team. The person will actually see the ticket, then takes the action, and then closes the ticket, and again inform back to the business that okay, this has been done. But with the help of these software robot, what we did is we created a system that can read the emails as well as the attachments. So email, generally we read the email subject that we are getting from the business. We validate that in our database. We set the user ID, password, or you can say credential from our credential vault, and logs into that server, creates a Jira ticket automatically, logs into that server, see that whether the site is running or not, restart the application instance, because most of the errors that we got is related to sometimes your application pool gets overloaded with all the correction and other things. So what you need to do is you just need to reset your IAS application pool. So this was the thing that we are doing with software open. So at that time, the whole process was taking more than 30 minutes, because the process was like somebody would read the email, create a Jira card, assign it to some other person in the support team, and when the support person team will actually log into the system, restart the IES, capture the screenshot, and send an email back to the client. So you can see this is a cumbersome process which these guys used to do on manually basis. But with the help of Uipath, we just did this process just in less than 3 to 4 minutes. You mean the entire thing, right? Starting from reading the email, creating the Jira content, robot will actually go to the server and restart the IES and sends an email back to the client. Okay, this has been done. All done and dusted in just 5 minutes. And as you know, it's a software robot, so we can easily do our calculations. And the calculations again depends on your CPU memory and everything. But again, as you know, the computers are nowadays are so powerful, so we can do calculations as well with the help of RPA. Moving on. Now we'll be talking about the use of RPA in business. So as you know that nowadays RPA is being used by every industry that we know. And from my experience, I can also tell that we are also using, you can say, more than 100% of our RP capabilities in my area. So I'll first touch base on this education area. So as you know that in education system, there are some enrollment process. You need to send some kind of a notification to the students, or sometimes you need to schedule anything, schedule a meeting room or a classroom, or sometimes you need to send automated generated tests to the students so that the other student can take the assessment and submit the assessment, and you can all again generate a score based on whatever calculation that you use at your end. So these are the use cases that you can use in your education. The other, you can say, big player in the RPA industry, or you can say the use case uh, that we follow is related to the supply chain. So most of the supply chain are now using the capabilities of RPA to manage their invoices, contract management, whether it is a RFPs, you send for any request for RFPs to the vendor, the RPA bot will actually evaluate the RFPs that you get from all the vendors, then selects, basically compare all the data and selects the best, you can say, quote from all the RFPs. And along with that, you can also uh, read your invoices and everything. You do automated invoicing to the business that, okay, you have been selected and everything like that. You can also do that with the help of RP. Then RP is also used in the client services as well. So client services, like earlier, there used to be a process when you need to change some address or any details related to your profile. What you guys need to do is you need to send an email. The other person will again read that email, update the data, and that process would take somewhere around again 3 to 4 days, depending on the task that the organization follow. But with the help of RPA, you can all easily automate this process. Like, you get an email, the RP bot will read the email, validate your credentials, and update the data into a database and sends the email back to you that this has been done. Similarly, with the IT services, you can also do your server and app monitoring, routine maintenance and monitoring. Like, we also do a kind of a heartbeat check for all of our servers every 30 seconds. So we have created a process in our area that runs every 30 seconds. So it's a, you can say, a attended process. We have scheduled it, and that runs every 30 seconds, takes the heartbeat, just sends a ping, or you can say sometimes it's browser URL to see whether the actually page has opened up or not. And if the process, or you can, the bot found any issue, it just notifies us via that email. Okay, there's some problem in that, and you need to look into that issue. So again, the process would create a Snowflake service now ticket for us. Similarly, in the field of accounting, you can also use RPA for any account updation, account creation, any reporting creation, any dashboard creation. You can also use RPA for dashboard creation as well. In accounting, I'm from banking industry. I know that we have been again using RPA to generate reports which actually normal user takes 30 minutes or sometimes 4 or 5 hours to develop, and with the help of RPA we can easily develop that report in just 3 to 4 hours. And again, in the field of you can say HR, you can easily automate the process like onboarding, offboarding, update user record, or sometimes you also need, you can also automate this FAQs thing. You can create a chatbot application, integrate that with RP bots, and you can get the answer in just 1 second. And in the field of operations, I would say again, it is somewhere related to your supply chain, where you can actually do stuff like your order creation, again update the order, sends, and if anything gets you can say modified, you can also inform the business about that change with the help of RPA robot. So these are the, you can say, common use case that we follow in the field of RPA. And along with that, you can also do development at individual level as well. So these are the industry specific use case. But you guys are from college, and you also have got some specific use case, or you have been doing some, you can say, repetitive tasks or mundane tasks at your end. So let me give you an example. I also automated something at my end. So before pandemic, means before COVID, somewhere around in 2019 and 2018. So I used to work in 12 to 9 shifts, and but the catch with that shift is the parking slots, because if you come to office, you need to book your parking slots, right? And the parking slots gets open at 7 a.m. for 12 to 9 shift, means 7 to 7:30. But if you log in at around let's say 7:15, or even sometimes you log in at 7:10 to that parking application, you will see all the slots are full. So I created again a software robot which runs at 7 a.m. on every working day from Monday to Friday, that logs into that applications, finds a parking slot for me, book that parking slot, and sends an email to me that okay, uh, that particular robot has booked a parking slot. So now I can actually take my car to the office, as I have to take a cab to go to the office. So this is a thing that I automated at individual level. So and you must have also got some task at your end, and with the help of RPA you can also do that very easily. Moving on, what are the benefits of RPA? So we have already discussed about some benefits and how RPA works, but these are the main, you can say, core benefits of RPA, like increased execution speed. Again, you know that if with the help of software and with the help of RPA, I have already showed you this time saving for a process which takes around 35 minutes. Now with the help of RPA, we can do that in 2 to 3 minutes. So there's an increase in the execution speed, and which ultimately saves your productive time, and you can use that productive time to do something else. Again, productive things. Enhance accuracy. So RPA programs again gives you, again that depends on the KPI that you are going to use in your automation. So you will get enhanced accuracy for that, unless you write some wrong code, that is a separate thing. But if you write a right set of steps into that, you will get a enhanced accuracy related to that process. And with the help of this enhanced accuracy, the process is again compliant. The chances of errors are you can say minimal. You have already mitigate the risk with by applying RPA to that automation. Again, with the help of this RPA, you can also reduce cost of process execution, because the problem with human is human can't work 24 hours a day. Human works in, and you can say in shift. The person will go to have lunch, to take some coffee breaks and something like that. But with the help of software, you can run it 24/7. Like the previous example that I mentioned, to book that parking slot. If I have to do it by myself, I have to get up at around 7 in the morning, and open that application, means open my laptop, then logs into that application and book my parking slot. So again, sorry. So again, you have to be available that particular time to do those things. But with the help of RP, you just need to schedule it, and the process will run on your behalf. This is the most important thing that RPA offers to us. Again, with the help of RPA, as I've already mentioned, that human works in a shift, whereas RP can work all the time 24/7 depending on the process that you automate. And it is very easier to scale RPA. Like, suppose if you got a requirement, like you need to enter, let's say, an entry to a form, and the form is pretty complex. It has got, you can say, more than 100 or 200 fields, and one FT is already working on that. But you have got some bulk data that needs to be uploaded to that particular application. Again, I'll take an example of ERP application that we are using. Now the problem is, if you give this task to some other person, you have to give the proper KT to that person in order to start the work. Because the problem with this approach is, if you don't give the KT, the person might enter wrong data into some wrong fields. So again, the chances of error are quite high, and the KT again takes too much of a time, again depending on the type of applications or type of the process that you are using. But with the help of RPA, what you need to do is, you just need to add one more machine, attach the license, attach that uh, machine to that process or a queue, and just run it. Similarly, if you see, okay, no, now I need to upscale more robots to that, again what you guys need to do is just add one more license, add one machine, and do the stuff. But with the help of person, it is very difficult, because you need to give knowledge sharing sessions to each and every individual, so that they don't basically commit any mistakes to that thing. So this is why these are the benefits of RPA that you can actually think of. Moving on, now we'll be talking about the RPA growth and opportunities, and we have actually captured these information from the trusted source. The information is available on the internet. You can actually go to your internet and search all these things. So it is estimated to have, you can say, 97 million jobs by 2025. And I think from the past 2-3 years, I have seen tremendous growth in the area of RPA. And you can also see there as 40% growth per annum. Robotic engineers is at number 2 emerging job in the US with 40% of the annual growth. So you can also imagine the growth of RPA and upcoming growth, and the future of work, and the kind of work that we'll be getting in RPA. And it's just not automation. You have also heard about other things like intelligent automations or hyper automation. So hyper automation is nothing. It's a just a fancy term coined by Gartner in 2019, which means RPA plus any third party thing. It could be your, again, Python, any third party coding language like C sharp. It could be anything, or you can also involve if you have worked on Java or JavaScript as well. So this is again called hyper automation thing. And it is again estimated to have a 40.6% CAGR. That is the RPA market size growth, and it is valued at 1.4 billion. I'm repeating again, 1.4 billion in 2019. And there is no doubt in that RPA is a well-paid job. So the average salary, the majority of RPA salaries in the US range between $94,000 to $131,500, with the average annual salary being 114,000. And for a fresher in US, the starting salary is $63,000. So it's a well-paid job, because again, this is a, you can say, technology boom for us as well in the field of RPA. And RPA in the field of IT, and RPA is also you can say a major player in that chain. Sorry. And along with that, RPA is also used for rapid business transformation. So 84% of the employees are set to rapidly digitize working processes. And the other thing about RPA that again I have noticed, and from my experience I've noticed, that we are getting daily RPA openings. As per this stat, we are in the US, we are only getting 5,000 plus openings per day. So you can also imagine the load that we are getting or the kind of work that we are getting in the RPA versus the skill set, because out of 8 only 1 are being filled. So still there is a, you can say, skill set gap between what we actually want or what we actually have. So these are, you can say, the future growth and opportunity. And in the next phase, I'll again clear your doubts on how, why you choose actually RP as a career. And it is estimated to have this number of jobs that will be available in the RP industry by 2025, just 2 to 3 years down the lane. So you will have these somewhere around 140 millions of jobs by the end of 2025. Again, we have talked about RPA, and there are also other places in RPA as well. But why we choose Uipath as our starting point in our RPA career or in our career? Because there are, you can see, certain facts about Uipath. Like Uipath was voted as number one on the G2 for RPA and low code category. So I'll talk to you low code category in the next slide. So Uipath was voted as number one for G2 for RPA, which means Uipath is the RP leader for the past few years. And along with that, if you see this quadrant, Uipath again named a leader with the highest ranking in the current offering strategy and RPA marketing presence categories. Means with Uipath, we are not just doing the RPA. So for beginners, it is RPA, but along with RPA, we are also expanding our wings in different areas as well. Whether it would be your low code applications, it could be your integration with AI ML tools. It could be your integration with, if somebody is interested in creating some apps, you can also create that apps with the help of again a different UiPath product. And if somebody is interested in you can say doing some data thing, so then we have got our data services as well, and you can also interact with data services with the help of this UiPath Studio. So moving on, this is actually the, you can say, the three core components of UiPath product suite. There are other as well, which I've already mentioned, that we have got UiPath apps, we have got process mining, task capture, but these are the core components where every person, if you want to start your career in RPA, you should have knowledge of all these three core components that UiPath offers to us. One is this UiPath Studio. So with the help of UiPath Studio, it is similar to any IDE. I know you guys have must worked on Java. You have already created some program in Python. You have used IntelliJ, or some people have used Visual Studio Code, or Notepad++ or some applications. So it is similar to that. It's a, you can say, integrated development environment where you can actually write your automation. You can actually track the activities to that workflow area. And the best part of this, you can say, this workflow or this UiPath Studio is, even you don't have programming language, you can easily start working on this UiPath. Your mind has to be logical, that is a prerequisite. But if you don't have any programming language experience, or if you are, you can see, you would consider yourself as a newbie in the field of you can say programming, or in the field of the thing that you are doing, you can easily the you can say the learning curve is not steep in the field of RP. Means if you think, okay, I am a tech enthuse, I'd like to explore new things, I like to work on, or you would consider yourself as the early adopters of the technologies, then RPA gives you that feature as well, where you can interact with any applications, you can automate. And if you are very good in programming language, what you can do is you can also create your reusable components in I think C# or other programming languages. I've already created 5 components for UiPath, which is live there on their marketplace, and that has got more than I think 7,000 downloads, something like that. So you can also create that if you come from a technology background. But if you are not from a technology background, you think I need to work as a business analyst, or I just need to do some kind of a project management thing, then you can also you can say incorporate or involve yourself into these things. There are separate courses for that as well. So first is Uipath Studio. That actually where you actually design your process. For developers, it is Uipath Studio. But if you are a citizen developer that has, you can say, got less interest in coding thing, you can always go with this Uipath Studio X as well. This is a separate tool that Uipath offers to us, where you can also design your automation and run your program. The other thing that UiPath offers is Orchestrator. So think of Orchestrator is a centralized application that manages everything, right from your process executions to asset management, your credential vault management, your processes, your queues, your notifications, your process alerts. You can you can configure everything, or it could be your user management. You can also do that with the help of this tool called Orchestrator. So it's a web-based application tool that you can open in any browser and just look at the processes. And similarly, if you want to schedule any process, you can also do that with the help of Orchestrator. Third thing is the UiPath robot. So this is actually the most important part in these three components too, because when you create a project, there has to be some other application which actually runs it, which actually understands that instructions that you are actually writing in that UiPath Studio, convert that instructions into their format and do the task. So with the help of UiPath Studio robot, we actually give instructions to robot. Okay, you need to execute this, these are the steps, and you need to execute that particular step and give us a result. So with the help of UiPath robot, we do all these tasks. Moving on. So this is actually, you can say, the interface of UiPath Studio. As you can see on the left, we have got uh, activity panels, we have got project panel, we have got some reusable snippets that you can just directly use in your code. You just need to drag it. As you can see on this example, uh, this image is directly, we are just dragging this click activity directly from that activities panel to the workflow area. It is super easy and it is very powerful, you can say user friendly, intuitive tool that UiPath offers to us. And it is again a kind of I've already told that it is already built in with some AI capabilities, because in order to grab the selectors from the screen, some AI thing has to be there. So with the help of, you can see on the top, I think it's not there, I'll show that in the demo. With the help of this process explorer, solution explorer, process explorer, you can actually grab the selectors as well. Moving on, next is the slides for the UiPath orchestrators. So I've already mentioned before that it is a web-based application, and you can consider it as the heart of your automation and automation management. And it again gives you the power to deploy, trigger, monitor, measure, license management, user management, your tenant management, uh, your testing, storage buckets, or your AI thing, your app thing. You can manage everything with the help of this tool. And as you can see, this is a dashboard where you can see it. Actually, you can see the queues overview, the process item versus unprocessed item. There's a beautiful graph in the middle of the screen, along with this, there's a pie chart as well as a line graph as well. So you can see the data both in the number format as well as in the graphical representation as well. And you can also create some more charts as well to this orchestrator. Next is UiPath robots. So I've already given you a bit of idea of what UiPath robots are and how you can actually run UiPath robots from your machine. So we have got three different type of, you can say, robots. One that runs in attended, the other one runs in a hybrid mode, and the third one is that runs on fully unattended. Means you just need to schedule it to run at a particular time, The process will trigger at that time and will run the automation and will give you will basically give you that result. It could be in any format that you choose. The second one is attended one. So attended one is uh, you just need to run the process at your end. You just so you have got this thing called Uipath process assistant, where you can actually set some reminders so that the process you will get a reminder and you run the process at your end. The third mode is this hybrid mode. So hybrid mode means where there is a human involvement in the process, because sometimes you get some opportunity where the process is not actually 100% automated, and there could be multiple reasons for that. The one reason could be you need to have a human in place, because that human would actually authorize the request or rejects the request based on the some preferences or based on the some data. And the other thing that could happen with that process is the process is not fully standardized. So standardized means once we actually take on any project in RPA, we look for certain features like whether the process is rule based or not, all the steps are standardized or not, all the steps are optimized or not, or whether we would need anything or that can be actually amended to that process to make it more reliable, or we can also save time, how we can actually uh, optimize this process in a way so that we can again save the time by doing the automation as well. So there are one thing where you get the as is process, like these are the number of steps, and you will actually replicate the steps in your automation. The other thing is you apply some logical thinking to that. Okay, these are the 10 processes. If I can merge these two steps into one, or if I choose a different way to automate this. So this is your to be process. So how you design to be process, again that defines your strategy and structure of how your RP bots are going to run. So the three things are attended, hybrid, and fully attended. Hybrid is one where you need actually a human in the loop to actually validate the request, nothing else, and then the automation will carry on once you actually approve or reject the request. So the next thing I'm going to show is how you can actually install Uipath Studio, Studio X. So you just need to log into cloud.uipath.com, create your account there, and on the right hand side of the screen you will see the options to download Uipath Studio and Studio X. The interface has got changed a bit in the last month, but you will find the links there on that page. And similarly, you also need to choose your profile, whether you actually want to go ahead with UiPath or with UiPath Studio X. Again, that depends on your technical capabilities and your area of interest. Next, I'll show you how you can actually automate a process with the help of UiPath. So I'll be building one automation. Like, let's take an example. If you need to buy one phone, what we generally do is we generally go to Amazon, we go to Flipkart, we go to some other sites to actually see the cost of that particular product and get the details for every each and every product. And similarly, suppose the other example could be if you need to buy a phone and you have got a budget of let's say 10 to 15,000, and you need to search it, you need to download it and to a particular you can say format and sends the data back to you. So you need to actually check what is the price of that particular item on a particular day. It could be if you want to, because sometimes we know that on a day at a certain time the price of product is quite less. Again, that depends on the marketing strategy of Amazon and Flipkart, how they are actually offering these things to us. But there's a way you can actually create your RPA bot to check the prices of all the items at a particular time. So we'll be actually creating that. We'll not actually going to deploy this on Orchestrator because of the interest of time, but we'll create that and you will actually get a flavor of how all these things works parallelly. So let me just switch to Uipath and show you the demo. So as you can see, this is the blank screen that you get when you open this Uipath Studio community portal, community uh, applications. Just select this open main workflow, and on the left side of the screen, you can see lot of activities there. We have got activities related to any kind of a app integration. Again, it could be anything. You want to interact with any CSV based applications, you want to automate Excel based application, or you want to download something from internet and uh, download that something on internet into Excel format and send email back to the stakeholders or back to the end user. You can also do that. If you need to do something with mail activities, again you can do that. We have got CV activities. We have got integrations with other tools as well. We have got as of now I've got only got integration with Gmail and Outlook. If you need to do something related to Orchestrator, then we do have activities related to Orchestrator. We do have activities related to alerts, API, assets, job management, queue storage. Everything is there. And similarly, if you need to do any kind of a programming thing, this is for programmers only. So you can again do that with the help of these activities. Then you need to do anything related to system. Then we have got system applications where you can actually interact with applications for any dialogue, your environment variables, and if you are well versed with some kind of a PowerShell scripting or any VB scripting, then you can again write that VB script and run it via UiPath. Similarly, you can run any kind of a Python applications or any Java-based application that, and you can run that with UiPath as well. And you need to interact with any part of any application, whether it is again I've already mentioned before, any mouse click, any mouse event, keyboard event, reading the data. You can easily that with the Uipath automations. Now we have got user events as well. Again, user events are like element trigger, image trigger. It could be any trigger. Like if somebody plays a file to a shared location or a shared drive, you just create a trigger for that. Whenever we receive a file on a particular time or a particular drive, that automation will be triggered automatically. That we can all, again do that with UiPath. So without wasting a time, let me just create a project. So first, what I'm going to do is, let me just show you. I'll open Mozilla, and what I'm going to do is I'll just open this Amazon, search for let's say phones under 10,000. As you can see, this is a manual activity that I'm doing. 10,000, 15,000. Downloads all the data, saves into an Excel file. Now you can actually imagine the time that it is going to take if you need to actually do it manually. Download all the data, copy that into a Excel file, save it to some location. As you can see, we have got more than 20 pages for that. Save into a shared drive and sends the email to your friend or to anybody. So we'll actually automate this process. So first, what I'm going to do is I'll drag one activity which is called open browser. See, it is very straightforward. From the left hand side of the panel, you can see your activities. You just drag it to the right, just give the URL. The URL should be like, I'm just doing the hard coding here. http colon double slash www.amazon.in. I hope the spelling is correct. And in the browser type, you can also choose any browser type. You can interact with IE, Firefox, Chrome, Edge, anything. So I'll choose Firefox. Then the next thing what I'm going to do is I'll type into this text like phones under 10,000 or 15,000. So I'll use another activity called type into. So in the do part, I'll drag this activity. You can see, now you can see there is one link here, indicate element inside browser. So first what I'm going to do is I'll just move back to the main screen, click on this indicate element inside browser and select this thing. As you can see here, there's a hand icon on this text box. So once I click this, you can see that this thing has already generated a selectors from me. And this was the UI selector that was I was actually talking about. This will take some time because my machine performance is a bit bad nowadays. And you just need to type it. Okay, I'll type phones under, let's say, 10,000. Okay, and the next thing that I'm going to do is it just grabs all the data from this website. So as you can see here on the top, we have got data scraping. So I just click on this data scraping. It is actually prompting me to select a value. Let me select a value here. Okay, the value is this, and now it will ask me to select the second element so that it can actually generate a pattern behind the scenes. If I click this and select the second one, let's suppose I select this thing, extracted column, I would say product name. Okay, if I want the URL, okay, I also get the URL. Click on next. You can see all the data here as well. And if you want to actually extract more information like pricing and everything, click on this extract correlated data, select the price. Again, you need to give first element as well as the second element. You can name it as price. Click on next. Now you can see there's a new column added to that with the name of price. Maximum, I would say the 0, and click on finish. So once I click on finish, it will ask me whether the actually page data is spanning multiple pages or not. So for this demo purpose, I would say I will click on no, because if I say yes, then I just need to locate the selector and the page will actually navigate 20 times in order to get all the data. So I'll click on no. You can see the data scraping is already done. I just need to change here one thing. I'm just making it more dynamic so that if I put a random value there, it will try to uh, extract the data. I also need to change some variables there. So it is sequence. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just means it's to download the data, because now we have got the data in memory. The next thing that I'm going to do is to download the data into Excel thing. So I choose the wrong one. Let me just select the right thing. So file name could be output.xlsx. Data table name was active data table. So with the help of this activity, all the data will be converted into your Excel file. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is send an email with the help of Outlook. So I'll just drag this Outlook activity here and select my default Outlook account, and let me just select it, and I just need to send this email to me here. So I'll select send email. Outlook application that I'm going to use is Outlook. 2 is manoj071@hotmail.com. You can also give dynamic subject as well, phones under 10,000. And you can also type some messages here as well if you want to send an email. Hey, please buy something like that. And in terms of attaching the file, just give the file name that you have created above. So where I created that in this activity, in this data scraping activity, I'll just give this file name as output.xls, and I would just check it, uncheck it as send email, save as draft. I've disabled this functionality. And the next thing that I'm going to do is, after data scraping, it just that close the tab. My automation is ready. Hotmail.com, post under 10,000, open editor. Let me just close this once. I think the automation is ready. Let me just try to run it. Okay, I just need to enter one more thing here. So after adding phones under 10,000, I just need to click on enter as well. I've already added enter details here. Let me just run it. Most of the time it happens when you show the demo, it doesn't work. But I hope this time this will work. As you can see here, now it is starting phones under 10,000, scrapping the data. It will take some time, 20 30 seconds. Now on the left hand side, you can see that it has already sent an email to me as well. Now you can now consider that if you need to do it manually, how much time will you actually going to take to do this? And in order to develop this automation, I just took less than 5 minutes to do that. So again, RPA is a, I've already mentioned that, is a rapid action development tool. You can do everything with the help of RPA unless if it is a rule-based and standardized thing, you can do that. And I'll be also receiving one email as well. As you can see that I've received one email as well, and it also contains all the data that I scrapped from that website. You can see how easy it is to create a process. Just one, two, three, and you can start. You can see all the data. I forgot to include header in that. It's just that we need to actually check one property there. So it is very straightforward. So you can see how easy is to actually start working on RPA. You just need to have some logical mind and know all the activities, and then you are ready to go. Next thing that I'm going to share is with this Uipath Academy. So let me just open that as well. Not sure. So there are free courses available on Uipath Academy where you can actually log in and learn about RPA. So it's a, you can say it's a free RPA training. You don't have to pay a single penny to learn anything about RPA. All the courses is free and created by experts in UiPath as well as community supporters. Some MVPs also created free content that is available on the UiPath Academy. If you go to academy.uipath.com, this is actually the main website that you can actually log in into. So, and you just need to sign up with your credentials, and you can see all the courses like here, whether it is a starting course or any business analyst course, any citizen developer course. If you are actually focusing towards creating some governance model related to your RPA process, so you can also take some trainings on that. Everything will be available uh, to, to this portal. And for this slide, I'll be handing over this to Anuj again, who will be actually taking you through on how you can actually join this student developer community, and we'll take questions after that. Thank you. Over to you, Anuj.
Thanks a lot, Manoj. It was a really great session. So I hope everybody knows now what RPA is and how you can build your first bot. So the next step for you would be to start your journey on RPA with RPA. By starting your first course. So let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible? Not yet.
Not yet.
I hope my screen must be visible now.
Yes, it is.
So after completing the registration, you will be redirected to these this dashboard. So we have mentioned all the steps here. You just need to follow it and complete the registration, submission, and start your journey with RPA. There's a link here which directly takes you to the course called Introduction to RPA and Automation. Eventually you have to start your journey with this. This is one of the most basic course available on Uipath Academy, and the first course whenever you start something around Uipath and RPA. So as you can see, the difficulty level is beginner, language English, 1 hour, but it will hardly take you guys half an hour to complete because most of the pointers has been covered by Mohit in this session. So just click on start learning. When you complete the whole course, there will be a button here called download diploma. Just download the diploma, come back to the dashboard, and then submit it here. So when you download the diploma, it will be downloaded in the PDF format. Just browse it, select the file wherever it has been downloaded, enter your t-shirt set, and click on submit. This is how you will be, now this would be the process of submitting the whole diploma. And after this, there will be a validation, and then you will be receiving the goodies. Then you'll be receiving the what we call the certificate on the behalf of Hack to Skill and UiPath. So this was the process which you have to do. If you have any questions right now, we can take it on. So I have few questions which I like Manoj to answer. These are some of the most basic questions which comes to in students' mind when they think about RPA. So what's the difference between RPA and our traditional automation which we used to do previously? What's the difference
So,
between these two?
so if I talk about traditional automation, so actually we have been doing automation for a quite long period of time. But the beauty of RPA is RPA can interact with, if I compare that with traditional automation only, it can interact with any application because you can use Selenium for doing this kind of automation testing. Or some people actually call it as automation, but that is not actually automation. Selenium was actually made to do the testing of your application. Similarly, we have different testing tools like UDP. There are few more tools as well, but they have got some limitations. Like they can only run to a specific instance or a specific type of application. But with the help of RP, you can interact with any application. Along with that, there's also a new thing that is also coming to the picture where you can actually automate stuff related to your mobile-based application as well, which no tool offers to us for at the moment. So this is actually, you can say, the basic difference between uh, the current automation that we are doing versus the existing automation that is already there in the market.
And there's one question in the comment section: what happens in software coding in RPA? I don't have a clear understanding what does this question means. Do you, Manoj? What
So
happen in software coding in RPA?
even I don't know. Okay, if the question is related to any coding that you can do in RPA, so my answer is yes, you can do that. If you know Java, if you know Python, if you know JavaScript, even if you know VB Script or PowerShell, you can again interact with, work with any application and interact with UiPath to run that part for you. So, and if you have got knowledge for VB.NET as well, you can again create some data manipulation query, or you would say link you query to fetch the data and perform that manipulations. Along with that, if you are proficient in C sharp, that then you can also create your reusable component. It's a very big thing, but if you are from tech background and you consider yourself as a techie person, then there is again a separate area for you in RP as well, where you can actually contribute to create a user component that can be used by all the users of the RP. That I've already mentioned in my session as well. I've already created 5 usable components, and those 5 components uh, combined, they have got more than 7,000 downloads. So that means that components has been used by 7,000 users or in 7,000 automations. So there's a separate area for you as well, for techie as well as non-techie.
Great. Guys, if you have any questions, put it into the comment section. And if not, I guess then we are towards the end. Complete the course by tomorrow midnight because that's the deadline to take part in the RPDC. The link and the process will be shared to you via mail, and you can see it flashing on your screen right now. Now I'd like to have Akshay to do the closing note for the session. I'll just add it to the screen. Akshay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. So I guess we are towards the end, so you can proceed with the closing note. Hello, Akshay. I guess she is facing some issues. Akshay, can you hear me? Shalsa, can you hear me?
Find up.
I can hear you exactly.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, sir, let me hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
I call I call upon Siva Prakash to give vote of thanks.
Akshay, Shiv Prakash, we can't hear you.
Anuj, do we have any other question in the chat box? Or we are done with that?
No, we don't. The students have joined in a hybrid mode, right? So they are watching it on a projector. So that's the reason we don't have much questions on the chat. We have only
Even
comments.
even if they don't have any questions, they can easily connect with me over LinkedIn, and I'll be more than
Yes,
happy
I'll
to answer.
just share your LinkedIn profile. Akshay, please proceed. And if you're not able to proceed, then, I can wrap up the session. I
Hello,
have shared. Yes, Shiv Prakash,
hello.
please. Yes, we can hear you.
केक அப்படியே வாசி. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
பேசவா பேசவா It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for the event being Chief Guest Mr. Manoj Batra, Associate Vice President at National West Group, who honored this webinar with inspirational thoughts. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to our chairperson, Mrs. K. Dhanalakshmi Ammal Madam, our pro-chairman, Thiru R.S.K. Raghuram Sir, respected Principal Dr. D. Vasudevan Sir, for granting permission to conduct this webinar. Next, I would like to thank the torch bearer of this webinar, our beloved Professor and Head of the Department of Computer Science and Business System, Dr. S. Pavlarajan Sir, and the mentors for leading and inspiring us in working towards the goal of conducting this webinar. I also wish to thank the students for your kind and patient listening towards this webinar. Once again, I thank you all.
Thanks a lot, Akshay and Shiv, for warm vote of
Thank you,
thanks.
Hack
We'll
to Skill.
yeah. Yes, please proceed, Akshay.
Thank you, Hacker Skill, to and Uipath community.
Thanks a lot. It was really great having you here, Manoj. Great session. I will send all the resources and important steps to you after this session over mail. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. Have a good day ahead.